Hello and welcome to Lanky Beat. We are on number 13. I don't know if that's going to be unlucky or what, Diane. What do you think? No? Yeah?
It's going to be fine.
I thought it would be. We're in CP Studios again and we've got a show lined up for you. Wow! Yep, we're going to be here putting the red rose of County of Lancashire on the world's rock and roll map. We do it as often as we can and we're doing it together. And you and I, together, will see another guy who's been putting the world's to rights in terms of rock and roll for the past 40, nearly 50 years. A guy called Keith Hubbard's going to join us later. He's from Southport and he knocks about professionally in bands, and he's particularly on Merseyside and hailing from Ormskirk and now in Southport, and we're looking forward to having a chat with Keith later. And also, I'll let you into a little secret about him. He actually, get closer to the speaker, he actually performed in the stage musical Hair. And the question I have to ask him is, did you take your clothes off? Superb. That I always love playing that particular track, particularly because I'm playing the drums on it. It's Brown Eyed Girl by the Shims. We covered the Van Morrison song because it's so popular still. It's one of those songs, isn't it? Endures and nobody ever gets fed up of it.
Everybody seems to dance to it.
I know,
don't
and they dance and sing the socks off, don't they?
It always gets the dance floor full. That's the main thing.
I know, that's it. It's fantastic, and we decided to put that one down because to show off our kind of four-voice harmonies, and I hope you enjoyed listening to them because I'm in there as well with the old singing, which brings me nicely on to the next track because I get, drummers, they allow the drummers, sometimes to sing a song solo on their own. Even the Beatles allowed Ringo one song on every LP that they made, didn't they?
He done Octopus Garden. That's one of my favourites by Ringo. He wrote that though, didn't he?
Ringo wrote that himself.
Yeah, fantastic song.
Yeah, George give him a lift with it, but and he's not a natural songwriter, but if you can produce stuff like that,
it's brilliant. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So anyway, what Ringo did in the early days, of course, every drummer aspired to be a pop drummer, and of course he sang songs. His first one ever did was Boys, wasn't it? On the first ever Please Please Me LP. Well, this particular track, covered by Chimbo's Revival, and Chimbo is the guy from Denmark, and we'll have a little chat with about Chimbo and his potential gig at Lanky Cat soon, and but I won't labour it anymore. Honey Don't was the song that I was allowed to sing, and so it was the first ever, my debut, if you like, singing this particular song. But it's not me singing, it's Chimbo out of Chimbo's Revival.
Well, how come you say that you will but you won't? You tell me you do, baby, when you don't. Let me know, honey, how you feel. Tell the truth now, it's the real. But Honey Jones, Honey Jones, Honey Jones, Honey Jones. I say you will when you won't. Honey Jones. I love you, baby, and now I know. I like the way that you wear your clothes. Everything about you is so doggone sweet. You got that sand all over your feet. But Honey Jones, Honey Jones, Honey Jones, Honey Jones. I say you will when you won't. Honey Jones.
Denmark is Chimbo. Okay, that's Chimbo's Revival, and he's coming to Lanky Cats pretty soon in June, and we'll be seeing him. Now, originally he was going to come over with his full Danish band, and but unfortunately, and always terrible things actually to report, but the bass player sadly passed away recently. Steen Lindblom, he was the bass player, I could say, and God bless, R.I.P. to Steen. And but true professionals as these people are, Ingvar is going to arrive in this country and he's going to put himself a band together based on Lanky Cats and should I say Mersey Rats and Mersey Cats, and a series of musicians there that all know each other, and he's going to come along to Lanky Cats with those guys, and we're looking forward to all of that. So this next track by The Friends. This is a Wigan band, all put down by Mitch Mitchinson and Mick Hannon. They kind of formed themselves into a little duo, and this is what they made of It's Only Make Believe.
People say it everywhere. They think you really care, but myself I can't deceive. I know it's only make believe. My one and only prayer is that someday you'll care. My hopes, my dreams come true. My one and only you. No one will ever know how much I love you so. My only prayer will be someday you'll care for me, but it's only make believe. My hopes, my dreams come true. My life I give for you. My heart, the wedding ring. My all, my everything. My heart I can't control. You rule my very soul. My only prayer will be someday you care for me, but it's only make believe. My one and only prayer is that someday you'll care. My hopes, my dreams come true. My one and only you. No one will ever know how much I love you so. My prayers, my hopes, my schemes, you are my every dream, but it's only
Only Make Believe. Mick's got a good kind of deep voice there, hasn't he? Makes a great job of that. Yeah, we're just chatting here in the background to that particular song, and talking about a company that traded in the 70s, and I asked Diane, I said, did you ever have any dealings with the company called SAI, Sound Advice Installations?
That's the one, yes.
I know. And she said, her face lit up. It kind of lit up like sun coming out in the morning, it did. So tell us, what do you know about these guys? Because they're on the way back.
Well, brilliant. I knew Bob quite well, Bob Dewhurst. He died several years ago, unfortunately. Really nice guy. I knew Mike Allerton. Everybody knows Mike Allerton, Smiling Michael.
All right.
And there's Jimmy Collins, who'd done the design and engineering side of it.
All right.
Go back to 1979 when I first started dealing with them, and
right.
Brilliant company.
Yeah. They were going a lot earlier than that, though, weren't they?
Well, they started off in
79.
Preston Road in the 70s.
In Standish, yeah. Not...
Yeah, no, where they used to be is like a big bungalow.
Yeah.
But they moved from there to Spenmore Lane at Coppell. and that's where when I first started dealing with them.
Ah, right.
The first disco deck I ever used was an SAI 4S.
Yeah.
And the other week I had to go to Sheffield and I bought one on eBay.
Right.
So I've got the original turntables.
Yeah.
I've got a 212 guitar cab and a 412 guitar cab.
Fantastic, because that's just right up this the street. Because they got in touch with me, and they're getting things together. They're not quite trading, I don't think yet. They're going to be building new amps. They're sourcing new components and parts and bits and pieces to put amps together, and they're going to be put together specially, aren't they? And going to be designed for, I suppose, for people who have particular wants and needs from amplification, aren't they?
I hope so, because SAI I thought it was ahead of the time.
Right.
When they're doing things, because Jim was the engineer that he invented, like in discos you have the lights flashing to the music. Well, Jim invented that.
Did he?
Yeah, that was invented in Standish.
Fantastic.
Wigan.
I stand this.
Yeah.
Good old Wiganers.
Yeah, and it's used all over the world now.
Oh, fantastic.
If we'd have painted it, would have been a millionaire.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and then they kind of, well, it all faded away. Why was that? Was it because they were more expensive than anybody else, or was other stuff coming in that was better?
No, there's something happened that I can't go into, but I know what it is. I can tell you off the air.
All right.
But it's something to do with exporting.
All right. Okay. So they deceased trading.
They stopped trading around about 1980.
Yeah.
But up to then I was dealing with them regular.
Well, that's great. That's great. Because I've got an email here, and it's from Jeffrey Warwick, and he wants people to get in touch with him. If you've ever used SAI equipment, if you've ever kind of still got it, if you've still got the equipment, or you have any knowledge of any kind of any other people who have used it as well. In other words, he's searching going backwards in time, and trying to get ideas from people about what they were doing back then.
Well, up to the Riverside Club closing in Wigan, I think then they had a SAI Pro 2 disco deck in there.
All right.
Fantastic disco deck. The microphone channel on that was so clear.
Yeah. So, if you want to get in touch with Jeff directly, Jeffrey Warwick, and there's a Jeffrey it's a JEFFREY dot Warwick, is it WARWICK, WICK, and there's a 215 there. Then it goes at btinternet.com. I hope you've got that. And now then, at the side of me, we just had a little arrival here, haven't we, with a guy called Keith Hubbard, as I mentioned earlier. And funnily enough, it's a small world, isn't it? Talking about SAI.
Very small world.
Did you have any dealings with SAI, Keith? And he said, well, tell us what he said to me.
Well, I used to work there.
Welcome to the Lanky Beat Show 13.
Thanks for
gracing our. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, and so straight away you're in on the spirit of the program, aren't you? Tell us what happened when Diane told us a bit there. What about
well, my first dealings with SAI was I was with a band putting a band together called Caliban. Yeah. And we went up to what was the bungalow on Preston New Road, the last thing as you came out of Standish, basically on A49.
That's right.
And we went and just looking to see what they had. We'd heard about this little shop there, so I was looking around that they had second-hand speakers, some speakers with their own signature on, and I just happened to look behind some cabinets, and there was an old Fender Stratocaster lying on the floor, battered, no strings on it. And I asked the guy, the tall guy with glasses, didn't know who he was then, what's happened with the Strat there? He said, well, I've just bought it in. Well, I had a Gill Starfire, which I bought while I was in her, for £50.
Right.
Now, this was immaculate, this Gill Starfire. This Stratocaster was a bit battered and everything. What deal would you do with that if I give you a Gill Starfire in exchange? And he said, well, let's have a look at this Gill Starfire. So we had a look at it, looked smackly guitar, and he looked at the Strat, and he said, well, I'll give you 20 quid. So I bought a 1959 Strat off Bob Dewhurst for 30 quid, basically.
Well,
and
it's frightening now to think of what value that is.
Yeah. And it's been with me now ever since, and it's been on the road ever since.
And it's four figures, and it's the upper part of four figures now, isn't it?
Yeah. So then we had a relationship, the band had a relationship with SAI, Caliban, and we advertised for them in Beat Instrumental, the magazine at the time.
Yeah.
There's a bit of photograph of me on the Sportsman's Club in Wigan, which was
Yeah.
down by Pemberton.
Oh, aye.
On there with the SAI cabinet and the high watt amp on the top.
Yeah.
That was in Beat Instrumental, quite a few issues. And then SAI supplied us as a sponsorship with the first MyCup PA system in the northwest of England. They built it all for us,
Yeah.
built the cabinets, Voice of the Theatre, designed as a kind of offshoot of the Altec Lansing Voice of the Theatre cabinets.
Yeah.
And they sponsored basically Shooter, sorry, that's my band now, Caliban on the Road.
Yeah.
And I ended up working there for 2 or 3 years, setting up the guitars and helping out part-time when I wasn't on the road with Shooter.
Yeah. I mean, like you say, you've been in quite a few bands over the years.
Caliban,
You're
sorry,
professional,
Shooter.
Caliban Shooter. We'll talk about that anyway later, a bit later. So, coming back into the market, something like this, an icon, in other words, a Lancastrian icon.
Very
you could
much so,
say.
yeah.
Coming back into the market now, what experiences are they going to find? How different is it going to be now, do you think?
I don't think it's a lot of difference. I don't think there's as much the business as it was then. There's not as many bands working as there were then.
That's right.
They were the backbone of the Wigan Northern Soul,
Yeah.
with Russ Winstanley and all those
That's
people.
right.
They supplied all that.
Yeah.
As you said, the Riverside and places like that in Wigan. On the disco side, they were massive.
Yeah.
That is not my game really, so I don't really know
Yeah.
how much of that is still there.
Yeah.
But on the band side, there's still healthy-ish.
Yeah. I mean, the social clubs as well have gone into a massive decline, haven't they?
Oh, they have.
And the pubs as well.
Yeah.
What was it on today's news? About 10,000 pubs have shut in the last 10 years, something like that. That's the bedrock of music.
Yeah.
That's where it all started, in pubs.
Well, that's where everybody felt ground.
And then we gradually progressed into dance halls,
yeah.
youth clubs, and so on, until everybody finished up playing in, Labour club, social club, or whatever.
And then onwards and upwards, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, the
and
pubs were your ground base, and
so there's a smaller market out there. So for some sophisticated, highly specialist equipment.
I think for bands on the road, and especially the bands that are doing like the pub circuit now, it's nice, compact, powerful gear that's required. And if they still have the same kind of ideas they had back then, they'll be able to manage that no problem.
Fantastic.
I know Mike's still got his shop somewhere around locally here. I've not been in for a while.
No, Mike's not got his shop anymore.
Has he?
He packed us in a few years ago. He's actually working at what used to be at Horwich Local now, repairing televisions and PA gear.
Oh dear.
Right.
I was with Mike. I actually went visiting Jimmy Collins last week. He's not too good at the moment, but I was seeing him. And Mike turned up. I've been there twice, and Mike's turned up both times.
Yeah.
And he said, I've been headhunted, I'm now repairing things over there.
Right.
I said, I know a few people who's after him, Mike.
Well, Jim Collins looks after my gear right up until about 3 years ago, but it was getting too heavy for him. To
it's
move
really
the
nice.
Stuff, so.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the other side of things. Are the cabinets going to be as heavy as they used to be?
We don't need as big gear now.
Don't need
it's the PA systems and the smaller cabs, but obviously more efficient and powerful.
Yeah,
so that's
without losing quality.
Without losing the quality, that's it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. And you mentioned Northern Soul, Russ Winstanley.
Yeah.
Of course, this is Russ Winstanley's producer. Is Diane. Diane is the producer of Russ and the Northern Soul show for Radio Lancashire. But you're moving, aren't you, Diane?
Well, yeah,
You're moving to
move at Sunshine Radio.
Sunshine Radio. Where's Sunshine Radio?
It's based around about Shropshire area, and we start the first show goes out on the 7th or 8th of April.
Yeah. Will we be able to pick it up on?
Yes, they're on. It's on Listen Again on there, and it's also going to be on. I think it's SoundCloud they're putting it on.
All right.
But it'll be on Listen Again, and it'll be out live on the internet.
Right. We'll give you more on up to date when you get going on that with Russ. And,
yes, we recorded some trailers at our house this morning.
Right. Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to come back then to Keith Hubbard here, and he mentioned something in his conversation, and I mentioned it earlier on, and it's called Hair. And what we're going to do is have a chat with Keith later. We'll just play this particular track. This is Roll Over Beethoven, written by Chuck Berry, and it was the staple diet of every band who's ever been and will come. Everybody plays Roll Over Beethoven. The Wes Paul Band. We know all about Wes, don't we? And Paul. They're like they're terrible twins. You know, the twins of evil, aren't they? They walk in. They look like what did you say, Diane? They walk in.
Laurel and Hardy's here.
Laurel and Hardy. I thought they were Undertakers. They walked in Lanky beat, didn't they? Lanky Cats and these two guys, and everybody turned round. And it went quiet.
Penguin suits.
They turned up about 10 o'clock. Well, it's fairly buzzing about that time.
Yeah.
They stopped the show, didn't they?
Oh, they were fantastic, incredible.
And then they played. Now, normally, Lanky Cats, they're kind of getting up and leaving, aren't they? About quarter to.
Yeah.
You know, we've done nearly 3 hours of more or less solid rock and roll. And, you know, there's a certain point you get a bit weary. I suppose you get a bit weary, don't you? I mean, you're all up for it and all that. Anyway, but so nobody left while they were on, and they went on to 11:30. That's the only time we've ever kept them
going.
I know, kept them going. Yeah. So that was great. I mean, so well done, Wes Paul, and it's Wes and Paul, his mate. That's why it's called the Wes Paul Band, and. He just turned 70, Wes. He just turned 70, I know, God bless him. And Paul, I think, is a little bit older, and he's not been well at times, but he's back on the road, and they're absolutely doing it again and again and again. Fantastic. Anyway, back to Keith. We're going to take Keith back to his roots a bit. Before he started to be influenced by rock and roll, as we all were in the 50s. But Keith progressed through to doing something, like I say, very special that I have no knowledge of whatsoever. So I want you to explain to me how it came about that you actually appeared in the show Hair.
Yeah. Well, appeared to my first bands. We started at school, as you say, last year's at school, which was Ian and the Rebels, and that went through the from the end of 63 through sort of late 60s. It split up, and we've been apart for about a year or so. And the rhythm guitarist out of the band, Roy Smith, he said, "How about thinking about getting the band to get back together?" And one of the kind of the prime reasons it split up was the drummer Chris Kenny got a very, very bad illness, and he had to leave the band. And it was like that was a nice mix. New people come in, but it never worked, and it all eventually went downhill. But this Chris was fine again, so we think, oh yeah, we'll put the band back on the road.
So Ian and the Rebels was what year?
That was 63 to 60. Well, it was Ian and the Rebels was 63 to 65. Then he was replaced. He left and he was replaced by Ricky Gleason.
Right.
Which then the Top Spots situation comes in.
So what you're talking about now is Ian and the Rebels have just recently reformed, and they played last Saturday night, didn't they?
They did, yeah. All the original metal, other than Chris the drummer,
Yeah.
who's unfortunately on holiday in Australia. So we will be having a proper full reunion when he gets back.
Oh, fantastic.
We had a
Fantastic.
kind of went out for a meal and everything for Christmas then, and it was unfortunate that he was away for 4 months.
Yeah.
So he couldn't do this gig, but we will be doing one in the future with that situation. Yeah, but we are the original members, all together for first time in 49 years, 50 years.
How good is that?
It was,
can't
it was
believe
great.
it.
Went down a bomb as well.
I know.
Yeah.
How did it feel for you? I mean, I don't like to say that you're out stager, aren't you? I mean, you've been through it all. You've been professional in music. You've made a living out of music
For
over
35,
the years.
35 of the
That's
50 years of working, yeah.
And I mean, the majority of people in pop music, like myself, just had an ordinary job, and we did music part-time. We were part-time musicians, and I never went professional. I'd like to have done, but it never happened for me, but it did for you. And so, I mean, to come to that point where you were actually reforming your old band from the 60s,
well, this is it.
How did it feel? I mean, when you went on with them guys, because
well,
like I say, you've been playing all through the years.
Yeah.
What about the others? Did they go up and get proper jobs and then?
Ian left the Rebels.
Yeah.
Because he was settling down, as he said, and he got a proper job as a sales rep.
Yeah.
And Derek Bruff just packed in.
Yeah.
Just he finished.
Yeah.
And we carried on. Was Roy and myself and Chris Kenny. We've got Kel Harrison out the Top Spots joined us.
Yeah.
Chris had to pack in through his health issues, and we had a few other drummers.
Yeah.
And eventually the band wore its way out.
Yeah.
But Chris's health issues started to correct themselves, and we were going to think of getting the band back on the road.
Yeah.
And there was an advert on what was then like the scene at 6:30 Granada.
I remember.
6:30.
Yeah.
Not Bill Grundy, the other guy.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Not Bill Grundy, is it?
No, Bill Grundy it was Bill Grundy and.
And we'll think of it.
There was going to be auditions at the Palace Theatre in Manchester.
Yeah.
They were looking for people who they think they could fit the parts for casting for the national tour of Her.
Right.
So Roy said to me, he said, "Well, let's go."
Yeah.
He said, "If we get in, it'd be great for the new band. We'll have something to."
What year was this? Just give
this
me
is 1969, and end of 1969. Yeah.
So when I thinking back, I was just assuming that Her, it was one of the first pop musicals, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a hippie musical, tribal love rock musical.
The only way it shot into prominence was the fact that people took the clothes off in it. Am I right?
Initially in this country, but no, there was a lot of good music there.
Oh,
it was a fantastic.
Well,
musical.
we're going to play something in a minute, aren't we? From that, because
it was. I mean, in New York, it started off Broadway as a review in a small little side theatre bar theatre, and it generated onto Broadway itself, and was one of the biggest hit musicals of all time at that time.
Yeah.
And it came over to London, and it was a massive hit again. All right, the nudity scenes and some of the kind of off kind of things that you would thought would have been a bit risque at the time.
Well,
obviously
time,
would have drawn some people in.
Yeah.
But, it was just
nobody will bat an eyelid. I mean, we didn't have page 3 girls in the Daily Mirror, did we? Then days.
No.
And there was a bunch of
as far as you got.
a bunch of musicians, actors, actresses, walking on stage, and nudity was all part of the show.
Well, it was, yeah.
And you know what I'm going to do? We're going to play this track now you brought in, because your more recent up-to-date band is called Shooter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is the one, your working band at the
It's
moment.
30 years now, Shooter.
30 years, yeah. And this is something that Keith and Shooter have put down, and we'll be delighted to listen to it.
We stop, look at one another, short of breath, walking proudly in our winter coats, wearing spells from laboratories, facing a dying nation of moving paper fantasy, listening for the new tone lies with supreme visions of lonely tunes. Somewhere inside something there is a rush of greatness. Who knows what stands in front of our lives? We fashion on our future in films in space. Silence tells me secretly everything, everything. Singing our space and on a spider's web. Sit our life is around you and in you, and so say timidly, let the sun shine, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine in, let the sun shine.
That's it. So enduring, the music.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, that's almost like yesterday. That.
Yeah.
And we're talking going back to 1969 with that.
69 to 70, 71,
how
yeah.
fresh it all sounds.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And go on, tell us a bit more then about what your involvement actually, you know, and how it all went, and the tours that you did with her.
With her, yeah.
And you know.
Well, as I say, we went for this audition at Manchester, and Roy was the singer out of the Rebels. He was the vocalist and the main front person.
Fantastic.
So we thought, well, he's going to get in if anybody gets in,
Yeah.
but we're not going to get in this thing.
Yeah.
They held me back from the audition and asked me to come again. And next thing, found out I got a part down, to go down to London. And then we had to sort out what we're doing about the Caliban. So we said, well, we rehearsed that through and see the run through.
Yeah.
Didn't expect it to be as long as it was going to be, but we were with it for 18 months. And we started at Manchester, out of London.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Manchester?
Palace Theatre in
Palace
Manchester.
Theatre in Manchester, and then down to London. Which theatre was
Well,
it?
we
London?
were in London first.
All right.
We all came out
I'm
of
with
it.
you.
It was on down to. It went to the Palace Theatre in Manchester.
Yeah.
Then off to the Nottingham Theatre Royal.
Yeah.
Then to Liverpool Empire. And then it went all over the country: Birmingham,
Yeah.
Aberdeen, Leeds, just everywhere.
And you're getting paid for this as well.
Oh,
Oh,
it's.
I know. What a way!
Yeah.
What a way!
Yeah, it was fabulous. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I served my time as an engineer, as a fitter.
Yeah.
And I was working at Otis Elevators at Kirby when the actual telegram, it came by telegram to go down to London.
Telegrams.
Yeah, and a fella knocking on the door,
Hey,
the telegram.
hey.
Yeah,
Mr. Hubbard.
yeah. Now you got the talk about all the, the bad things that can go on down in London from my dad, And off I went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived for 6 months in London, and I never saw anything bad.
No, I didn't.
I know. I never had any fun.
No, I had more fun in Manchester than I did down there. Yeah.
So I say, amazing experience. I mean, take us through kind of a typical night or day, should I say? So for instance, you're on tonight at doing the show here.
Yeah.
What are you
Well, you'd be
doing?
in at 10 o'clock in the morning for loosening ups for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'd be.
Is this
free.
every day?
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah,
So
it
take us
was
in.
quite a strenuous show. You were on
Yeah.
for 2.5 hours, and
Yeah.
you were dancing, singing, and acting all the way through. Nobody
Yeah.
was off the stage at any time. The whole 26 people in the cast were on that stage
Yeah.
for 2.5 hours
Yeah.
doing something.
Right.
And it was quite energetic. They didn't want you
Yeah.
to be missing a show, so they kept you as fit as you possibly could.
Yeah.
And you were doing 8 shows a week. You did 6 nights, two matinees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they bring you in the morning like a football team. You
Yeah.
have your fitness things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're in at 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
Then
Go
what
on
happens
then.
after that?
Then you were back in for call at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Ready for on stage at 8 o'clock.
So meanwhile, you go and chill out somewhere,
Yeah,
or go in a bar,
generally
have a cup of
spend-
tea.
yeah, well,
whatever.
Generally, most of the time, I've got to say, I spent my time in the dressing room with my guitar.
Yeah.
And trying to write songs and just trying to
Yeah.
move
Yeah.
yourself on.
That's right.
We did do other little bits of socialising and everything, but a lot of it was with that. And
Yeah.
the lads in the band for the show were very kind of egging you on, moving you along.
You were a team.
They would want you to play with it. We did concerts with them as well. I was waiting for the show.
Oh.
But then you'd be on at 8 o'clock, and straight through 10:30, and into the dressing room, quick shower, off, and then you'd have a night out then.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic, great stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, they pay you to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I never had a job like that, goodness me. And it's amazing. Now, you mentioned another one of your bands there that you got involved with, Caliban. Now then, that started just before you went into Hair.
Just before I went into Hair, yeah.
And then you'd obviously the tours with Hair, and then you came back and formed Caliban again.
Well, we got the Caliban, was not ready for On the Road when I came out of Her.
All right.
So we were taken in by Stern Promotions in Liverpool, and we did one gig in Liverpool at a club called the Knightsbridge Club in Duke Street, and straight across to Denmark for 3 weeks.
Goodness,
we did 3 weeks in Denmark and came back, and that really tightened the band up then. It was really good.
Yeah.
And we were doing heavily the Liverpool circuit at the time.
Yeah. And what kind of material was Caliban doing? I believe it was a bit heavier than...
It was a rhythm and blues band, really.
Yeah.
Starting to write its own stuff, putting its own thing in, mixing its own thing with general rockish standards, things like Cream, Sunshiny Love, and things like that. She's not the... that type of number.
Yeah.
But their own versions of them, not copying the record.
Right.
And...
so you strip a song down and rebuild it in your own way,
to the way they would want to. It suited our strengths rather than trying to copy somebody else.
Absolutely. I've been a big fan of that for years, and I'm still doing that kind of thing. Strip a song down, put it back together, and shape it in your own.
Yeah, you've got to make it your own.
And then
nobody's going to believe it otherwise.
You have some form of ownership on it. And
that's right.
When you're covering somebody else's material, that's
and I think it's a bigger compliment to the person that you're covering.
Yeah.
Rather than the tribute thing's fine. Great, that's what you want to do.
Copycat stuff.
But if you're going to do somebody's stuff, I think they would be more interested in it if you did your own slant.
I certainly am, but I'm a musician, you see, and I look for different things than perhaps non-musicians do. My wife will say, "I don't like that version of what you do with that." For instance, we just played Brown Eyed Girl. My wife says, "I don't like that particular version. I prefer sticking to the original Van Morrison version." And so there you go. You can't please everybody. But I love that version. What we do, because we let the harmonies come through on the chorus.
The thing is, eventually, if you make something your own, and it will communicate to the audience from you. But if you're trying to copy something, it's got to be acted in every single possible way to a T, and it's not you.
That's right.
It's not you. You're selling that thing rather than you, and that's something I've always
couldn't agree with you more. And you brought your CD of Caliban, and you picked a track out.
Yeah.
And it's called Hard Bitten Woman, isn't it? Now then, I don't recognise the title, but maybe when we listen to the song...
It's a song I wrote in 1971.
Right.
While I was in Her.
Right.
And we did it in Cam Studios in Moorfields in Liverpool.
Right.
A guy called Charlie Weston engineered it.
Yeah.
So it was a demo at the time, so it's not a release recording.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
It's the title of the CD, I must tell you this, and it's all one word, this. It's... Gonna rock your jocks off.
Gonna rock your jocks off. Now, when we put an advert, we asked the melody maker to put this advert in for a tour we were doing, and they wouldn't accept that. They said, "No, we can't put that in. We can put rock your socks off, but you can't put gonna rock your jocks off."
Oh, that's all.
But they relented. A year later.
Oh. Again, it was that conservatism, wasn't it, of the time, that anything out of the ordinary, or a little bit suggestive, but even swear words weren't, that's what you'd get. The reaction would be horror, wouldn't it? Anyway, enough chat there. Let's get on and listen to Hard Bitten Woman by Keith Hubbard.
As a fire
that's Caliban,
Yeah.
Keith. It's an unusual name, that. It rhymes with another kind of word, doesn't it, called Taliban, which, of course, I think a lot of people understand that from somewhere around Afghanistan and things like that.
Yeah, no,
but it's
yes,
nothing to
Taliban,
do with
nothing
that,
to do
is
with
it?
the Taliban, no.
Absolutely not. So, but,
Mind you,
know.
it's an evil being of
Yeah.
a person of evil nature from The Tempest, Shakespeare's The Tempest,
Right.
Prospero's servant.
Yeah.
And we thought that the description of the character amply suited but the band that we're putting together and what we're aiming to do.
That's
so,
right.
So we call it. That's where the band name came
That
from.
was a lovely, deep, rugged sound. I mean, that's heavy,
Oh, yeah.
meaty stuff, that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
So, what were your kind of venues when you were playing with Caliban? What
early-
what were your audiences like? And
Early, I say the first proper thing we got. We started with a club in Liverpool, and then we went to Denmark for 3 weeks, and we came back, and we were playing all the clubs around Liverpool and the schools and the colleges around the Liverpool
Right.
area, and we started branching out and doing universities and Chorley College. We did that quite a few times.
Down here, yeah.
And then we were doing a gig for Old Swan Technical College on what was the top rank in the ballroom in Liverpool, and Frida Mullins from the Cavern Club was actually there and booked us to go in the Cavern Club, which we'd done in the early 60s.
Yeah.
But this was the new version of the Cavern Club, because it did get closed in 67,
It did.
reopened, wider version, and so we were playing in there. So they booked us for there, and we started playing all the kind of rock clubs and rock pubs and universities all over the country.
A studenty type following.
Yeah.
And you were getting to be what, about in your 30s and that? And were you?
No, I was in my
No?
mid late
mid-20s when all this happened. So
yeah.
you're still a youngster,
Yeah.
being followed by youngsters.
That's
in
it,
other words,
yeah.
So how long did Caliban go on for? And,
Caliban went on through to the end of 1974. Chris, the drummer who was with us when we were in the Rebels, his illness returned. He left, and again it wasn't the same. We got a new drummer in who was very, very good, John McCauley, from a band called Stone Rose, Preston band. But it wasn't the same, and it went its way.
Yeah.
Towards the end of 74.
And then you progressed on to a band called Shooter.
Chicory Tip.
Chicory Tip, sorry.
Yeah, Chicory Tip
I'm
next.
rushing ahead. Chicory Tip. No, I've heard of Chicory Tip. But I just couldn't remember the track that made that name big.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you're jumping out your seat at home there listening to this, and everybody should know this, but anyway, I didn't, so there you go. And I needed reminding, and here it is. Chicory Tip and
Son of my father.
Fantastic.
Mama said to me, we got a happy life run right. Off you go to school where you could learn the rules, they're right. time. I shall scrutinize and read it alibi signs. So I left my home, I'm really on my own at last. Left the past and separated from the past. Son of my father, changing, rearranging into someone new. Son of my father, collected and selected independent views, knowing and showing how to teach his due. Son of my father, fooling, I was free from drive. Son of my father,
Dum, 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 dum. What a catchy is that? Huh? That's another one, isn't it? Huh? You can't help it.
It's fantastic.
I know.
I love that song.
I know. And Keisha was telling me about the Chicory Tip and how that particular band got together. How did
Well, but the guy Pete Hewson, he was a keyboards man
Yep.
who very interested in the synthesized sound, and he brought songs over from Germany, basically German folk songs, which he rewrote, organised into songs like that one, and it all done with the synthesizer, and then put band together to do the business.
And that particular CD, Chicory Tip CD, 20 original recordings on this, and is that perhaps the most famous one of the lot, do you think?
Oh yeah, there's that. There was 4 really big hits. It was only a short-lived band.
Yeah, but it was a manufactured band, didn't
yeah,
it?
in
it
the
was
sense
put
of
together
it being,
because of a track that became mega,
Yeah.
isn't it? And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
and this is.
And it's mega, but it's
Yeah.
still played today. But
And you got involved with that with Chicory Tip. How long were you with them?
roughly about 18 months.
Yeah.
Toured all over Europe with them, and
Yeah,
and that.
and that again. So yeah.
It was just a,
I mean, coming back and living in Ormskirk and doing bits and pieces that you do now with Shooter, but you're also involved, and you're coming to Lanky Cats tomorrow night with the Top Spots, aren't
Top
you?
Spots, yeah.
That's another name drop for you.
Yeah, yeah.
So I hope we're not confusing you listeners at home, but so we've got the Top Spots coming up. Give me a little bit of background.
Well,
on
the Top
on
Spots,
Top Spots.
when we're going back to Ian and the Rebels, when Ian left the Rebels,
Yeah.
Ricky Gleason at the time split up with the Top Spots. He was with Ricky Gleason and the Top Spots.
Yeah.
They'd been to Hamburg, the Star Club and everything.
Yeah.
And there were Bob Wooler's next tip for the top after Billy J. Kramer and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then there was this acrimonious bit split. Ricky left them, and the Top Spots went on for a short while. Ricky joined
Yeah.
the Rebels.
Yeah.
And then after a few months, the Top Spots
Yeah.
packed in.
Right.
So Dave Forshaw, who managed them, Liverpool Empresario, he said, well, do the Rebels fancy being the Top Spots with Ricky Gleason, or we go back to Ricky Gleason and Top Spots?
Yeah.
So we did for a while, but we didn't want to do that. We said, no, we want to go back to being the Rebels, thanks.
Right.
So it was Ricky Gleason and the Rebels, which went
Right.
on for
Yeah.
quite about 18 months.
Yeah, and Ricky Gleason brings himself and the Silhouettes now.
Oh,
Ricky
yeah.
Gleason and the Silhouettes come down to Lanky Cats as well. So
Well, 2009,
Yeah.
Ricky's wife unfortunately passed away, and they got together at Mersey Cats, and Ricky rang me and said, well, do you fancy coming for a reunion with
Yeah.
Kel? Because Kel joined the Rebels at a later date.
Yeah, yeah.
There was quite a connection between the Top Spots and the Rebels.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, okay, we'll go down. So we went down to Mersey Cats, and in the conversation we just said, well, let's have a little bash. We'll just get together, see how it goes. And he came down to my studio, and it went quite well. So we decided, right, we'll see if we put it back out on the road just for doing the odd gig. And Mersey Cats, as it was only Mersey Cats then. There was no other offshoot or anything. It was just Mersey Cats.
Yeah.
And we did, and we put on that. It was going quite well, but things as they do in bands.
Absolutely.
Split happened again,
Absolutely.
and Ricky went on his way.
Yeah.
And the Top Spots are together again still, you know.
Yeah, and looking forward to tomorrow night. We've got the Top Spots, we've got the Blue Notes, and we've got Vintage. It's again, we're going to be in for another cracking night. 3 bands. That's Thursday. Tomorrow night, the 21st of March, and when you're listening to this, it's probably about all over and done with, but never mind. We've still got to plug these kind of things. I'm also going to plug something else as well. We've got Manfred Kuhlman. He's going to be coming across here in May, and he's going to be promoting his latest book. It's been around for a while, and he's put a new one together. Beat Waves Across the Mersey. He's bringing it across with him, and I'm going to try and get in, but promote that and sell a few copies. He's also bringing with him another book, a new one. Some of the guys. 60-odd new groups in that.
Ian and the Rebels.
Yeah, Ian and the Rebels. And you have to qualify. You have to qualify to get in his book. You have to have at least one record. You have to have made one record.
Yeah.
And so that eliminates my band. You know what I mean? Because we never made a record in those days. So and there's one or two Lanky Cat bands and musicians involved. And my old band was My Curse and the Trekkers. I was with them for a short time, and they're in. They're from Preston, and they're in this particular book. So Manfred's coming over from Bielefeld, his hometown in Germany, and he's going to vlog that. And I've invited him to come to Lanky Cats and have a look at us and see how we do things as well, because I know he's well in at Mersey Rats and Mersey Cats, and so we've got that to do. We've also got another book that's for sale. It's by Tony Bolland, and he's written a book about Hess's music shop in Liverpool. And that's as famous as almost anywhere else in Liverpool,
it's just
isn't
as much
it?
as part of the whole scene as the
it's
Cavern was, or
absolutely.
anything to do with Mersey Beat.
Yeah, it says, and his subtitle is The Shop That Launched 1,000 Bands and the Beatles. And if you want a copy of that, you get in touch by email, or get in touch with me, and I'll get in touch with Tony. But Hesses at hotmail.com. Hesse, HESSYS at hotmail.com. And of course, I've got my latest Lanky Beat book out, Lanky Beat 2. Another 200 pages have just been put together, and you can order that from blurb.com. Or Blurb, preferably. I'm told if you go to blurb.com, you get charged in dollars. In American dollars, yeah. But if you go on to blurb.co.uk, then you'll get charged in pound notes. So that's a difference. And you can actually download it to an iPhone or an iPad for a very modest, I think, £1.49. And you can have a PDF download to your computer of it as well. So, and they're much cheaper than an actual book in your hand, but there's nothing like having a book on your shelf there to look at. And so that's my little book, and of course you can get in touch with me at lankybeat.com. Don't forget the K and the Y, lankybeat.com, and we can hopefully get you fixed up with a copy of that. So we're coming to the final bit about of the show. I'm going to thank Keith Hubbard now. It's been fascinating. I'm sure we could spend another hour. Easy, couldn't we?
Nice,
so I think we're going to have to invite you back, and we'll just talk about so many things. You've got so much to talk about that we've got to do this all over again.
Yeah, I don't mind.
And if you don't mind,
No.
we certainly don't.
No problem at all.
And we'll do that. Now, our next plug is the Sixth Generation, the American band from Michigan in the good old USA. They're going to be coming over in July, doing several gigs, including Lanky Cats. And I'm just giving him another plug. Ron Hamrick, he's going to write a special song for us, and it's called Rock on England. And they're in the recording studio at the moment, putting it together. They were influenced by the British invasion that came from this part of the world, and we took the bands over to America. The Beatles, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Freddie and the Dreamers. We all went over, didn't we? And then the Who, the Rolling Stones, everybody went over, and that they called it the British invasion. Well, it was going to reverse the tables on us. Now this is what we call a mini American invasion. So, Sixth Generation. Lovely that you're coming over. Dave Willinger and Ron Hamrick I'm in particular touch with, and excited beyond belief because they're going to be playing at the Cavern Club,
Right.
which of course, you know, is every musician's dream come true.
Yeah,
There's no question about it. And amongst all the other gigs that I've found for them, the Cavern in Liverpool is going to be the one. Before we go, I must thank Kathy here. Kathy Townley has donated the studio to the Lanky Beat Show for the second time. Thank you for that, Kathy. And for Diane, producing it excellently as well, producing me and slapping me when I get things wrong. And Keith, thank you very much. We're going to see you again pretty soon. We hope you'll tune in and keep Lanky Beat flying and going from strength to strength. The sixth generation will leave you with Heatwave.